Hello, good morning everyone. Thanks for joining me this morning. Erin here. Today we're going to do a little bit of different sort of yoga. Going to do some mobility based practice today. So some different sort of things you may or may not have done with me before, but have a little bit of fun. Don't be too hard on yourself. And of course, any of these exercises, if you really enjoy them, just keep practicing them over and over until you get it. So a couple of things we're going to need today. If you have a yoga block, perfect, have that handy. If you don't, maybe have some books nearby, a stack of books, because we're not necessarily going to be carrying the block, but what we're going to be doing is stacking it to different levels and different heights on the floor. So make sure you have enough books that you can stack to get to all of these different heights, so the tallest being about the, I don't know, what's that, 20 centimeters or so? So block or some books or any objects, so you've got 3 different heights basically. You're also going to need a shoe. Any shoe will do. Flatter with a grippy bottom is probably the best. Clean, because we are going to be handling it a little bit, but you can always wash your hands in it, whatever, later. Maybe not a big boot, because we're going to be balancing this shoe, so the lower the better for the sake of balance. Now, we'll start our practice today. You can just come to a seat for a moment. We'll take a few moments to settle in. You can sit cross-legged or sit with the legs out in front, whatever's comfortable for you, but just take a couple of moments here. Close down through the eyes. And just take a moment to connect to the breath. Just feeling that natural breath moving through your body. Arriving in this space, this moment. And just allowing yourself to be here, giving yourself this precious time. Not worried about what's been going on in your life, past events. Not worried about what's coming up in the future. But just allowing yourself to observe with mindful awareness every little detail that makes up this moment. Take a couple full rounds of the yogic breath, that 3-part breath. If you're familiar with it, just go ahead and start. Maybe one hand on the belly, the other hand on the chest. And on your next inhale, start to draw the breath down towards the belly. Belly expands. Continue to draw the breath up into the ribs. Feel the rib cage expanding outwards. Continue to fill up all the way to the top of the chest, filling right up to the tops of the collarbones. And on your exhale with control, release top of the chest first. Feel the ribs contract. Navel to the spine. Everything out. Do that 2 more times. Take 3 full rounds of this full yogic breath. And if this breath isn't feeling that easy today, you can continue to stick with it if you can, or just let it go and take some full deep breaths here. All we're really doing in this moment is finding a little focus for our attention and inviting a little bit more oxygen into the body. Beautiful. At the end of your 3rd breath, and keep going if you're still going with it, you can release the hands and gently start to blink open the eyes. Now, we're going to start off with, have your block or your stack of books handy, and taking the legs out in front, take this block on the lowest setting in between your feet, and take the feet quite a bit wider so you've got space in between the feet and the block. If you're using books, maybe just 1 or 2 books stacked here. You'd start low. So taking the hands to the hips, sit up nice and tall. We're going to, on an inhale, you can go with the breath here if you like. Lift your left leg without using your hands, and try not to lean back here. So just lifting from the hip joint, and slide that foot across to meet on the other side, so feet come together. And then again, if you want to go with the breath, on an inhale, lift. As you exhale, place the foot down. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale. And go slow here, using control. The slower the better. You can start to feel it in that hip crease, in the hip flexor. Last one, we take that foot to the other side. Take a moment. And then we're going to take that right leg. So as we inhale, lift the leg. Slowly slide it across, and as you exhale, place it back down, sitting up nice and tall. If you start to feel yourself starting to round, just keep reminding yourself to lift the heart. You can also have your fingers behind you to just feel where the earth is, where the floor is, and use those fingers to press down and support. It's a little bit of an easier option if you're struggling with this one. Otherwise, keep the hands on the hips. So again, we'll inhale, lift. Take the leg across. Lower. Inhale, lift. Leg comes across, nice and slow. Lower. One more time. Inhale. Leg comes across. And lower. Beautiful. If that was enough for you, keep the block there. You want to step it up a little bit. We're going to turn the block onto its side so it's a little bit higher, sort of second height of the block, or add a couple more books if you're using a stack of books. Same thing. Start with that left leg. On an inhale, lift. Try not to lean back. Keep the heart lifted. Just using the strength of those hips. And inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Take it across. You can go a little bit faster now. You sort of know where we're going with this, but don't go too fast. Don't rush it. And don't use momentum to swing the leg across. So you're just using that slow, controlled muscle in the hip. Let's do one more. I haven't been counting, sorry. And take it across. Beautiful. Right leg, inhale to lift. Take it across. Lower down. Inhale to lift. And try to keep your feet flexed the whole time. That's just going to help improve that sort of strengthening through the legs, keeping the legs nice and long. 2 more. Again, who's counting? And last one. Take that leg across. I am sweating already. Taking the block now to the highest setting. So again, you're welcome to stay with either of those 2 heights. If they were enough for you, stay there. If you're with your books, stack a couple more books on so we've got a nice high pillar to get that leg over. Hands to the hips or fingers behind you if you need it. On an inhale, lift. Again, this is a higher one, so try not to lean back here. Try to keep that torso upright. Lift and lower. If you're going with the breath, inhale. And exhale down, nice and controlled, not swinging. Just using the strength of the leg, the hip. One more. Whew, this one's getting a little bit harder for me. I don't know how it's going for you out in YouTube internet land. All right, last one on the right leg. Sit up nice and tall, hands on the hips. On an inhale, feet flex, lift. Take it across, lower. Lift, across, lower. With the breath if you like, inhaling, across, lower, stay with it. We're almost there. Last one. Again, I have not been really counting these, but if you need to even them out on either side, please feel free. Foot comes down. Whoo, shake it out. Pop that block off to the side for a moment. And then bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Knees are bent. Feet are still a bit wider than hip distance. Maybe take the hands out a little bit wider than your shoulders, fingers pointing away. On an inhale, we're just going to press into the hands and the feet to lift up into a reverse tabletop. Just looking to the sky. Keep the chin tapped here. Take a breath. And on your next exhale, lower the bottom down. Bring the soles of the feet together now, knees out to the side, and just softly let those knees soften out wide. Baddha Konasana. Maybe bounce the knees a couple of times here. You can hang on to the ankles or the toes. Just releasing some of that tension through the hip flexors and the top of the thighs there. Beautiful. Now bring those feet out in front of you again. Move to the back of your mat. Take your feet out just about as wide as your mat. And then let's start with the hands behind us and just start to let the knees drop from one side. Coming back to center and let them drop to the other side. Leaning back onto the hands and just feeling that little bit of a twist here through the torso and through the hips. You can feel that, especially after that nice little work we did with our block before. Now start to bring those feet back to center. Bring the hands out in front of the heart. So if you've been to my live classes, you'll know I like to do this one quite a bit. If you haven't done this with me before, have a little bit of fun here. So we're going to do that same motion, knees dropping from side to side, but without using the hands. So keep the hands in front of you, keep them up in the air if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, or out in front. So start to drop the knees over to the right. And then inhale, come back to center. Exhale, drop the knees to the left. As far as you can, all the way to the earth if possible. Inhale back to center. So just keep flowing from side to side here. Your gaze and your hands are staying right out in front of you. You will notice that I'm starting to creep forward on my bottom. You'll probably be creeping forward as well. Try to avoid the urge to shuffle your bottom back, but if you need to adjust, just creep your feet forward a little bit more. We're going to walk using our butt cheeks to the opposite end of the mat. Well, maybe not all the way there, but we're going to do a couple more of these. Just building up that flexibility, that strength in our hips. I'm starting to run out of room. We'll do one more each side. And when you're finished, come back to center. Now you can start to scoot yourself back. And we're going to come over onto hands and knees. You can either just cross the legs and come forward, swing the legs around, however you need to get there. But set yourself up so you're on your hands and knees. So hands are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. Taking a couple rounds of cat and cow, whatever that is for you. Just do your regular sort of spinal movements here. Rounding through the back as you exhale, and then inhale, letting the belly drop down, the heart lifting. And just feeling that beautiful movement through the spine. Pausing anywhere if that feels good. Just tuning into any sensations in the back of the body or the front of the body here, shoulders and hips. And then come back to center for a moment. We're going to make this a little bit more shoulder oriented. So keeping those hands, fingers spread wide underneath the shoulders. This time on your inhale, we're going to start from the tailbone. So start to lift that tailbone as the belly drops down. This time, bend your elbows out to the sides very slightly as you start to draw the shoulder blades together onto the back. So we're squeezing those shoulder blades together, and then the heart comes forward and you look forward. So it's a little bit of a modified cow. As you exhale, this is where we're just going to regular cat pose. Press the earth away, round through the back, and feel the slide of the shoulder blades all the way from the center of your back to the outsides of the ribs. So we'll do that again, starting from the tailbone as you inhale. Start to feel that arch through the back. Bend the elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades together, heart comes forward, looking forward. And exhale nice and slow. Start to round, press the earth away, and feel that full range of motion through the shoulder blades as you look towards the belly. And just do that a couple more times, just really focusing on that sensation through the shoulders and the shoulder blades. So we're really just focusing on feeling those shoulder blades sliding across the rib cage. Feels pretty good, to me anyways. If you've got any shoulder issues or injuries, this can be helpful if you're mindful with it, but if it doesn't feel that great, obviously take it easy. We'll do one more big exhale and press of the earth away. Maybe pausing here for a moment in your cat pose. And slowly start to come back to center. Now, start to walk your hands towards the end of your mat. So we're walking those hands a little further out in front. Engage your arms so it feels like you're trying to squeeze your hands and your arms towards the midline of your mat, like you're trying to draw your thumbs towards one another, this sort of motion, but of course they're stuck to the mat, so that's not going to happen, but you can feel that engagement through the arm muscles and through the shoulders. Now draw your lower ribs towards your hips a little bit more, so you start to firm up through the belly here. Keep all of that activation now, so arms hugging towards center, belly hugging in, lower ribs towards the hips, and start to lower the chest. But don't let go of that activation in the shoulders, so you're not going to get that low here because you're keeping the arms engaged. Breathing. Just looking to your mat so the back of the neck stays long. Beautiful. Now come back up onto the hands. Walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. On your next inhale, we're going to start to take the right leg back behind. Watch out for any objects in the way. Left arm is going to come out in front, so opposite arm and leg. Again, that sensation of drawing in through the belly. This time just keeping the back of the body nice and long. On an exhale, we're going to bring the knee, right knee to right elbow to left hip, but we're going to do it out to the side. So rotate your toes outwards. Start to draw that knee towards the elbow, other elbow towards the hip, and the palm of the hand is facing the earth. Inhale as you extend back out long, rotate toes down, rotate palm of the hand to the right. Exhale, rotate palm down, toes out, knee to elbow, elbow to hip. Again, inhale to extend out long. One more time, rotate palm, rotate toes, elbow to knee. Knee to elbow, elbow to hip. And last one, extend and release. Hand to the earth, knee to the earth. Walk those hands out in front again. Palms of the hands on the mat, fingers spread wide. Squeeze the arms towards center. Engage through arms and shoulders. Have a little micro bend through the elbows so they're not locked out tight. And then drawing the lower ribs towards the hips. Taking time here. These movements are simple and slow, but as you can already notice, they're quite powerful. So slowly start to, with all that engagement, start to drop the heart towards the earth. But don't let go of that integrity in your shoulders. Don't let go of that squeeze of the arms towards one another. Keeping the back of the neck long, just looking towards your mat. Breathing. Sometimes when we're holding these poses with all this focus on all these different muscles, we tend to hold the breath. So make sure you're breathing. And slowly come back up. Bring the hands back under the shoulders. If you need a little wrist relief too, you can always come onto the fists here if it's a bit too wrist heavy for you. Or take a break anytime you need to. You can always hit pause. So now we're going to take, on an inhale, the left leg back behind. Oops, hello desk. Right arm out in front. So drawing the belly in, keeping the spine nice and long. And again, on an exhale, rotate the toes out, palm of the hand to the earth, and then that left knee is going to come to the left elbow out to the side. Right elbow is going to come to the right hip. And then again, inhale, extend back out long. And exhale, rotate, knee to elbow, elbow to hip. And inhale, extend. One more time, rotate toes out, palm down, knee to elbow, elbow to hip. Nice and slow with control. Inhale, extend it long. And exhale, hand, knee, come back down to the earth. So take a little break here. come and sit on your heels or come to a seat for a moment. Maybe just give those wrists a little bit of a roll. We've been spending a bit of time on them. We might spend a little bit more. Maybe just sort of drawing each finger back, giving it a nice little stretch. Pay attention to each finger, moving slow, moving gently. Beautiful. Come back onto the hands and knees. Find a block or a book, just one book if you want to, and just have that block handy there. Come back onto your hands and knees. Now, pick up the block or the book, and we're going to have it balancing on the palm of the hand. So don't grip it here once you've picked it up and turned it around. If you need two hands to get it into place, that's fine. But we don't want to hang onto the block. So this is simply balancing. So if I turn my hand to the side, that block or that book is going to fall off. So get your block into place, get your book into place. And then on an inhale, we're going to extend that arm out in front. Exhale as we bring the block underneath the body, turning the block, swiveling through the elbow here so that hand comes out around to the right. And then keep extending that arm as far as you can. And then slowly bring it back. Swiveling under the body and then extend the block out in front. Lift it as high as you can. Beautiful. Bring it down and under. Swivel it around. Extend it out to the right and as far forward as you can, lifting it as high as you can. And again, underneath the body, extend the block forward, lift. Beautiful. We'll do that one more time on this side, nice and slow. Just observing any sensations here or anything that's going on in your mind, like what the heck are we doing? Or maybe you're finding this really difficult. That's not a problem. Maybe you're finding it really easy. That's not a problem either. It's sort of working with our brains a little bit here as well, coordinating movements and balance, things we're not usually used to doing. Lift and lower that block down to the earth. Just come down into a child's pose for a moment, just taking the weight off of the hands, head down to the mat. Maybe interlace the fingers here and just sort of roll the wrists from side to side. Beautiful. Come back up. Hands and knees. Other side. So however you need to, but pick up that block with your left hand. Turn the palm up and then let go of the block or the book. So that book or that block is just balancing. So take a big breath in and we're going to extend that block out forward. And then exhale as it comes through, swiveling the block. Swing it out to the left and take it as far forward as you can, keeping it lifted. And try not to lean too far over to the right here. I'm leaning a little bit. And slowly bring it back. Focus, concentration. Lift the block as high as you can when it's out in front. And then again, exhale. Bring it under, swivel it through. Sweep the arm around as far as you can forward. And slowly bring it back. Again, not gripping the block or the book, but just letting it float, letting it balance, lift. One more time. All the way through. Notice if one arm is a lot trickier than the other two. I'm struggling a little bit more with this left arm, this left hand. I'm right side dominant mostly, like a lot of us are. So notice if this left hand is harder or easier. And release. Bring the block down. Hand back to the mat. Pop this block or these books out of the way now. Probably won't need them again. And come on up into a downward facing dog. So spread those fingers wide, tuck the toes and lift the hips. Pedaling it out here. Feeling a little stretch through the hamstrings, a lengthening sensation through one leg and the other. Beautiful. And then slowly start to walk your feet forward towards the top of your mat. But we're going to keep the knees bent turn the toes out to the sides, keep the feet a little bit wider, and then start to bring your hips down, coming into a yogi squat position, bringing the elbows to the insides of the knees, press the palms together, lift up through the heart, lengthen through the spine, squeeze in through the muscles of the pelvic floor and the core. You can be up high too if that's not good for your knees. You can have the elbows on the knees and be in a little bit of a higher position. Otherwise, bottom down towards the ground, long through the spine. Take a couple more breaths here. Beautiful. And then slowly, without using your hands, if possible, start to come down onto your bottom. So nice and easy. And take those feet out in front. So we're going to set up for a twist, taking the right, bending through the right knee. That right leg's going to come underneath. Left foot's going to come across and to the opposite side of your right knee. So keep this left knee lifted. Make sure both of your sit bones are on the earth here, so wiggle the bottom around if you need to. And then just start to sweep your left arm behind you. Right arm's going to hug the knee in. You can look back over your back shoulder. If you want to deepen this twist a bit deeper, you can take that right arm to the outside of the left knee. Long spine, inhaling for length and exhaling to soften more. Slowly release. Come back to center. Now, without using your hands as much as possible. This is another little challenge I like to do in my classes. Of course, if you have to use your hands, you can, but try it without the hands. We're not that far off the ground. If you fall down, you're just going to roll onto your side or something, so it doesn't matter. So bring the hands in front of the heart, maybe interlace the fingers to discourage you from using those hands. On an inhale, start to lift your left leg. Hopefully you've got enough space around you, but start to swing that leg nice and slow, kind of like we did with the block, but we're going to keep going here. Swing that leg all the way back behind you and start to wiggle yourself up onto that left knee. So coming up into a really active pigeon pose. Your hips should be quite far off of the ground here. Now, again, if you need your fingertips on the earth here, that's fine, but we're keeping this pigeon pose active. So we're squeezing legs towards center. We're drawing that belly in. Heart is lifting. If you wanted to, you could take the arms around behind you, interlace the fingers, reach the arms back and lift the heart. Option here, if you wanted to take this a little bit deeper, this one's nice and fun, you could tuck the toes on the back foot, lift the back knee, lean forward. Keep squeezing those legs towards center. Keep drawing the belly in, breathing. And when you're ready, slowly release the knee. Slowly release the foot. And slowly, carefully release the hands. Start to slide this foot back now. This is a mobility practice, so I'm not coming down into that sleepy pigeon that you all love so much. Now, walk the hands a little further forward, tuck the toes, lift the hips, and find downward facing dog again. Pedal out if you want to, or find some stillness here. Try to engage the arms like we did in that Anahatasana or puppy pose at the beginning, but that engaged sensation of hugging the legs towards center. And then slowly start to walk yourself forward again. Keeping the feet a little bit wider, toes pointing out to the edges of the mat. Start to sink the hips. Elbows come to the insides of the knees. Find your squat position. Pressing elbows into knees. Lifting through the heart, lengthening the spine. Breathing. Beautiful. Slowly start to, again, you can use your fingers if you need to, otherwise arms out in front. Start to slowly lower onto your bottom. Bring the legs out in front. So this time, we're going to bend through the left knee, left leg to the earth. Take that right leg, sweep it around so we step to the opposite side, foot to the opposite side of that left knee. Adjust your bottom if you need to, both sit bones firmly planted onto the earth. And then start to sweep that right arm around behind you. Left arm can hug the knee. Looking back over that right shoulder. And breathing here. Inhaling to find length through the spine. Exhaling to twist a little bit deeper. Look back over that back shoulder. You might like to take it deeper with the elbow to the outside of the knee. And slowly, carefully come back to center. All right. Hands in front of the heart. Interlace the fingers so you're not tempted to use those hands. Of course, if you need to touch a finger down for a second, you can, but try it without and just see what happens. If you fall to the side, no big deal. Inhale to lift your right leg. Lift it as high, extend it out as long as you can, and slowly, carefully, with control, keep it off the ground as you swing it all the way around behind. Coming up onto the knee and the toes. Again, if you need to touch those fingers down, you can. Otherwise, we're in quite a high pigeon. Hips are lifted, belly drawing in. Maybe taking the arms around behind your back. Interlace the fingers, reach the arms up, lift the heart. Nice and strong in this pigeon. Everything engaged. If you want to take it further, tuck those toes if they're not already. Lift the knee. Lean forward. So we've got this nice long line from the crown of the head to that back heel. You can feel that left hip engaging a little bit more. One more breath wherever you are here. And then slowly, lower the knee, lower the hands. This time we're just going to slide onto that left hip and bring the legs out in front. Now, I've got one more little challenge for you guys today. And this is one you might have seen floating around on the internet. It's a little mobility challenge. This is where we're going to use our shoe. So if you wanted to have a little bit of fun, record yourself doing this and post it in the comments, and we'll see how many people have some fun with this one. So what you're going to do, I can't promise I'm going to be able to do this on the first go either, so I might have to edit it out. We're going to come down onto our backs. Have your shoe handy. Start with your dominant leg. So I'm going to start with my right foot. And pop that shoe onto the sole of your foot. So your knee is bent. Now, the goal of this challenge is to roll onto your belly and then keep rolling so that you end up back on your back without the shoe falling off, right? So I might run out of space here, so I actually might start a little bit further towards the wall. So make sure that shoe is balanced and start to roll. Go slow. Halfway there. I got to keep rolling the same direction without that shoe falling off. Okay, I've figured it out. When you roll, you want to roll to the opposite side of the leg that's balancing the shoe, right? So, start to roll. Halfway there. Now comes the tricky part. Keep going. I don't even know if you can see me, if I'm going to roll off the screen. Woo! Now, do it on the other foot and post your results. Alright, we've had a little bit of fun here today. Let's pop that shoe out of the way. So let's just take a nice little bridge pose to finish off. So if you want to come down onto your back, stretch it out. Take your arms out wide. Let the palms of the hands come down, and then on your inhale, press into the feet. Lift the hips. And just coming up onto the shoulders here. So weight is all in the shoulders. No weight in your neck. A gentle press through the back of the head. Keep the knees hugging towards center. Take another big breath here. Lift the hips a little bit higher. And slowly, carefully release. Take your hips over to the right. Let the knees fall to the left. Look out over your right shoulder. And come back to center. Just take that simple twist to the opposite side, wringing out the spine. And coming back to center. Recenter the hips. You can either stretch yourself out along your mat, or if you'd like the soles of the feet together, maybe knees out to the side in Baddha Konasana. Whatever feels right for your Shavasana. And spend a few minutes here. Closing down through the eyes and just letting the body relax. Letting everything melt down towards the earth. Reflecting on your practice. Observing how it felt. Maybe doing something you've never done before. Maybe teasing your brain a little bit. Stay here for as long as you like, as long as you need. And whenever you're ready, just start to bring a little bit of movement back to the body through the fingers, the toes, the breath. Maybe finding a little stretch. And slowly starting to make your way back up to a seated position. Bringing your hands in front of the heart. And taking a moment here to thank yourself. Always thanking yourself for putting in that effort. For listening to your body. Trying something new. Challenging yourself. And I thank you very much for joining me here today. Namaste. Thanks everyone. Have a really wonderful day. Have a fantastic week. And see you here in this space again very soon. Thanks guys.